A lot of the ideas and themes of From Hell can be traced back to the poet and artist William Blake. He is referenced by Gall, and he's even featured in the last chapter. His painting, Ghost of a Flea, is also brought up multiple times. Blake has a radically different view of the world from the majority of people at that time period that he lived in. He would often lash out against things like child labor or racism long before many people did. Arguably, the most important aspect of his philosophy is called First Vision and Twofold Vision. First Vision is viewing the world in a very cold and calculated manner. There is no room for interpretation and subjectivity, which was pretty common during the Enlightenment period. Twofold vision is when you are looking at the world in a more subjective and imaginative way of connecting with reality. You can see this in many of his paintings, where his idea of events from the Bible is very different from mainstream thought. This obviously is very much in line with how Gall views the world as well. One could also view the entirety of Knight's theory, and by extension From Hell, as a form of twofold vision. It takes many facts and theories about Jack the Ripper and combines it into a surreal experience. This is very similar to how Blake interpreted reality and a lot of his illustrations. How he approached a lot of the art based on the Bible, for example, is probably vastly different from mainstream interpretations. He even had his own mythology, which is very similar to Christianity, called the Book of Urizen. The character Urizen has his own Bible that is very rigid and stringent, which is very similar to organized religions. I'm surprised Urizen doesn't make any appearances in the story, but the one that is featured is his painting Ghost of a Flea. The incident that led to the creation of this illustration was a vision. He was often said to be joined by apparitions, including angels, Voltaire, and Moses. The flea that he was drawing told him that fleas were inhabited by the souls of such men as were by nature bloodthirsty to excess, which perfectly describes Gall's nature. The topic of visions is brought up multiple times in From Hell as well. William Gall has a heart scare and sees a god, and there's also the clairvoyant Mr. Lees. William Blake was also known to have visions, and it would later go on to inspire many of his illustrations. Funnily enough, Blake was considered a madman during his time period. Throughout From Hell, magic is often dismissed by the general public. The world has become more logical and confined. Blake would have hated this, as it was already occurring during his lifetime, where the Industrial Revolution was happening. William Blake was not fond of the things that London was starting to offer. He wasn't fond of the organized religions or the monarchies found in society. There's a pretty obvious class and power imbalance in From Hell. The prostitutes in this are representatives of the poor class. It is very much a position that not many women actually wanted to do. Gall, in comparison, is a high-class and wealthy man who silences those who threaten royalty. In William Blake's London, many of the same criticisms are levied in From Hell are found in the poem. It's pretty obvious that Alan Moore has been heavily influenced by the likes of William Blake. He quotes him in Watchmen and clearly aligns with a lot of Blake's virtues. Let's not forget that the man himself is a ceremonial magician. Gall kind of serves as a mouthpiece for Alan Moore and Blake's philosophies. The world of magic and subjectivity is where these men dwell, and it allows them to make very inspired works.